What's up? This is Ninja Burrito, and we're back with Chapter 2 of Master Ninja of Ninja Gaiden 4 on a fresh save file. No DLC cheats or bonuses, no deluxe edition currency, and no new game plus advantages. And we are going to be doing this level as well without using any items. So that's 2 in a row for no items to make sure that you can build up enough currency to buy the abilities that you need. It's very doable. There's only really one hard section in this level, in my opinion. And as far as the Purgatory gate goes, we are once again going to do it on max penalty, so max difficulty possible. So let's get started with this run. This level is a breath of relief, in my opinion, after the nightmare of the first level, because now we have abilities, we have weapon upgrades. Actually, I'm going to use my points to just max out the Takamenakata because I have the currency to do that. And then just everything now for the rest of this level and the level after it will all be building up to pay for the drill weapons abilities, which I think the drill is my weakest weapon. Maybe the hammer. The Blood Raven form hammer might be a little weaker for me. My timing on it is just not great. But, you know, these are going to be key weapons to get us through the game. And so we're going to want our abilities. So for accessories, we're still using the defense ring, but we will be shortly getting an item that halves ranged damage, which I think is really, really, really good. For a lot of these encounters, because then when enemies hit you with shurikens, they do half damage while giving you time to charge up your ultimate technique. So I think that's really great. But first, we've got a rail section to get through. There's really nothing to show you on the rail section. Just do your best to get through it. I'm actually going to skip through it here just because it takes a long time. And you guys know how the rail sections go. So on this first encounter, you assassinate the first guy just like this. And I'm going to edit out like a lot of my deaths, hopefully all of my deaths, just to save you guys time. No need to watch me die a million times. And this is really just ultimate technique spam, like always. Assassinate the dude, get some ultimate techniques off. You kind of know the drill at this point. For some reason, this guy like went into a really weird spot up here. I was like, what are you doing? And I tried to get up there, and he just like almost deletes me. I was like, what are you doing up there, dude? So that was a little annoying, but do not fret because there's a free heal. As soon as these 3 enemies are dead, we get healed again for free. So no need to use items, no need to, because if you die, the checkpoint's right there. So just do it without items on that one. You know, it'll save you money. So I went up there to be like, what's so special about this spot? Why'd you go up here, dude? All right, so free heal and Tyrant. We don't have much currency at the moment, but we do have enough for one ability. We're going to check out the new item, but not buy any items, and turn in our mission, which is to defeat 50 enemies with the Takamenakata. It's not like we have any other choice right now, so that should be done. And that gives us the accessory that reduces ranged damage against us, incoming ranged damage, pretty heavily. So that's going to be nice. The execute otherworldly invaders cannot be done until the post-game. I pick it up anyways just because it's there. But that is a post-game mission. You need the glider on this level to get that, and we don't have the glider yet, so, you know. As for Tyron, I think we're going to get Reflect. Yeah, I'm going to get Reflect at this point so that if I do perfect block, I just have that option to attack. I don't want to be, you know, hurting for the ability to do that. And now we can just save up our coin and work on these other things. Mirage is going to be our next kind of ability that we want to get after that. So let's continue with our itemless adventure, everybody. You'll notice we changed costumes because I really like this costume, actually. It's the pre-order one, but I think it's probably one of the best ones for Yakumo. But anyways, this battle can be a little tricky if you're not careful, but I actually think it's not too bad. I do die, so we're going to cut to me actually clearing it. But it's not too bad, in my opinion. Should have edited out more of that loading screen, but that's okay. So to deal with this, we're going to assassinate the first guy, and then we're going to try to get up above to fight the second guy in the sky. But I'm having a little bit of difficulty here. There you go. Come on, Yakumo. We can Azuna drop. We're going to abuse the Azuna drop quite a bit on this level. It is just that good. And you can use your Blood Raven form in B to throw these Blood Shuriken waves at them. And that will kill them instantly. I actually think I dropped down to check on them. Oh, nope. Nope, I don't. They're dead. And I know they're dead. We're going to next move on over here and try to Flying Swallow, but fail miserably into Azuna drop. And it's going to be more of the same here. We're going to use our ultimate techniques to try and round out our abilities. I jump on these things to try to spawn the other enemies. I know there's more enemies. I just don't know what the spawn trigger is. And there they are. So again, abusing Azuna drop. Quite a bit in this level. Quite a bit. Now, you don't have to abuse Azuna drop if you're creative with your combos and can do them safely. But this is just showing an easy way for you to get through the level. And you'll see with these flying guys, I like to use the Blood Raven plus B to shoot my Blood Shuriken waves up at them. Just like that. I accidentally absorbed all the essence here, so I'm going to try to... Well, not all of it, I guess. I do the perfect dodge into an essence absorb. That guy has no limb. I should just kill him, but instead we're gonna we're gonna do this instead of an obliteration technique. Be careful, Azuna dropping near the edge. You can send yourself over the edge. But this is pretty much what we're doing. Azuna drops and ultimate techniques, guys. Just be extra careful. Our health is still only 2,000. And 2,000 health means you can only get hit once. But very, very shortly here, we will be getting a health upgrade. I'm just going to shoot these guys out of the sky real quickly here. And then we're going to wipe them out. Alright, so there's a couple of chests in this area. This is the first one. This gives us the new heal over time item, which I think is particularly strong, but we won't be using it in this level. And there is a second one, a rejuvenation elixir. The Purgatory gate is coming up. Just watch out for this rocket guy. He spawns after you deal with everyone and tries to hurt your feelings from far away. But we're not going to deal with him right away. We are going to the Purgatory gate. Yeah. For a second there, I almost tricked myself. I was like, wait, do I deal with him now? I don't think so. So this is how you get to the Purgatory gate. Now keep in mind, we may miss things along the way, but I'm going to try to get you guys as many Purgatory gates as I can remember in my run. And I'm going to try to get you guys all the health upgrades if I can remember all their locations. But we're going to do Realm of Hell here. 10,000 weapon XP, 16,000 ninja coin. There's just, it's very similar to the previous one, but we now have more jetpack enemies and we have more officers. So basically we're going to make it so that we die in one hit and we're not going to use any items, because if we die in one hit, who really don't have room to use items anyways. And then we are going to go through and just try to ultimate technique our way through most of the enemies. And we're going to swap our talisman to reduce ranged damage so that we can ignore the air enemies for as long as we want to. So I did not do this one on my first attempt. It did take me 2 tries. I messed up the first time. But we're going to do it pretty much the same as the first one. Open up with the Flying Swallow Barrage. Since that didn't get us a kill, I'm going to do an Azuna drop so that we can get some essence going. And then try to play defensively until I can absorb the essence into an ultimate technique. You guys know the drill, yo. You know the drill. So, ultimate techniques are really, really strong in these Purgatory trials. I'm a huge fan of the Takamenakata as well as your starting weapon. Like, it really does have everything that we're going to want or need to get through these levels. I don't feel limited or like at a massive disadvantage for using it. So far, Master Ninja, it has been the weapon that we have, and it has served us well. Which is great, because I really thought I would feel, I don't know, at a disadvantage using it, but these early levels are well designed for the Takamenakata. That weapon is good at dealing with DDO soldiers, man. Of course, you know, the way that we usually deal with them at this point is just ultimate techniques, which any weapon could do, but you get my point. So you'll see that we try to Azuna drop these guys out of the sky, and that's simply once you press the grapple, you can either jump and then XXXY, or you can attack right off of the grapple point instead of jumping, so that it's X for the attack to the enemy, and then XXXY for the Azuna drop. And you'll see I messed it up there because one of my attacks missed, but that's okay. And again, you can always, if it's safe, just use the Blood Shuriken attacks with the Blood Raven form, which is left trigger plus B. So Blood Raven form plus ranged attack will do that. Really, really useful Shuriken attack. All right, so wave 2. This is where things get a little spicy. Luckily, I had time to charge an ultimate technique. That is where I died the first time I tried this, is I just got hit. And then we're going to use Berserk form, but the thing about Berserk form is doing the Bloodbath kills requires time to do your charged attack, and that time often gets you killed, so you just want to be a little bit careful. That's why I'm charging an ultimate technique here, because I can let it go early if I need to, and I'll be okay, as much as I would like to just do the Bloodbath kill. We're going to drop that guy, and then this officer here, we really want to hit with an ultimate technique. But I miss. My ultimate technique just misses, which is unfortunate. So I'm trying to get this essence, and we do get it. But we still have to deal with this guy that can one-shot us. He's throwing ranged attacks, which gives us a chance to charge up this ultimate technique. I think by this point, you should probably be pretty used to fighting these guys. We fought them quite a bit. So getting the timing down for when you can charge and when you can't, it should start to come naturally to you at this point. But if not, hey, no problem. Just try again when you fail, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the Purgatory Gate. We're just going to kill these guys. And you do want to get good at killing these guys, because we're going to be killing a lot of these guys at the same time as the boss in this level. And then using the essence to attack the boss. So get used to this now. Very good practice. Boop, bop. Easy. And there is our Purgatory Gate. No items. Hardest difficulty. Negative 75%. Yada, yada, yada. For the biggest rewards. The cool thing, too, is that there is a revive item in this level. So we're going to get another 15,000 once we find that as well. Because we have not used our revive item yet. So that's going to make a massive difference for you. Okay. So. Let's continue the level. Shall we? At this point, we have to go deal with that rocket launcher guy that was shooting at us before. And then we have a few more guys to kill after that. And then we'll be well on our way. I like to loop around over to the left here when approaching this guy. And unfortunately, he just shoot me right in the face. And then I air recovery. But we'll get him with an Azuna, and then a few more enemies are going to drop right after. You can save that essence for them. I actually recommend it. Just save the essence until they spawn and then charge it into them, but if not, that's okay. We can just Blood Raven and Azuna drop our way through. One of them is a rifle guy, and so, you know, those are the easiest officers to deal with, because you can just let them shoot, and we have the talisman that reduces their damage, so we're not really worried about it. Now, this chest, do not miss this chest, because this chest is your first health upgrade in the game. Finally, we have a little bit more maximum health, and we're feeling good. Unfortunately, it's not enough maximum health to make too much of a difference. We still pretty much die in just 2 hits. So on that second hit, you're still going to die. But on maybe some enemies, you might live. But so far from what I've seen, I still just die. But, you know, it is definitely starting to make a difference. It will definitely make a difference on, like, oh, I can eat a shuriken with the reduced damage and then a hit, instead of just the shuriken damage is the one hit. You know what I mean? So you're starting to find the game to be a little bit more forgiving, as it gives us these defensive options. Really does make quite a difference, to be honest, because you spend more time playing the game and less time being dead. Now, I'm going to skip this rail section, because you guys know how to do rail sections and there's no enemies. And when that rail section ends, we assassinate this guy here. And then we're going to assassinate this guy here. No chests around here, so we're just going to move on. This fight can be a little tricky, I think, but I managed to do it my first try, so I think you guys will be all right too. Just make sure that you use the assassination opener to get essence into a UT. And watch out. Sometimes when you parry, if you forget to flash through them, it opens you up to an attack. So just remember that if you do parry, just press Y. Just press Y. But we're going to Azuna drop this dude, hopefully not off the edge, right? Into some more UTs. And this is actually a bit of a lengthy fight, so sit down and grab a cup of tea. We will be dealing with air enemies at the same time, which is, you know, not always the greatest. But first, let's get over to the next ravine. You can jump over. Handle this guy however you want. I Azuna drop him. Not really necessary. You can just do like a ground X string if you want. And then X, 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 Y. Because we did the attack from the grappling point instead of jumping from the grappling point. So we've got our air enemy kill, which gives us essence to deal with the ground enemies via ultimate technique. These guys, of course, you don't have to Azuna them, but I just prefer to. It buys me that little bit of time that I need. And we are trying to work our way up through the Berserk gauge. And at the end of this level, we will finally unlock the ability to drain the Berserk gauge for one big attack. I don't remember what that attack is called. But I'm pretty excited to get that technique going because it is very, very valuable. So again, we can use our range shurikens, try to get some essence for ultimate techniques. And that's kind of our strat with the Takamitakata. There's a lot of more complicated things that you can do, but to be honest, the more complicated you make it, the easier it is for there to be a gap in your defenses. So you really have to lab it out if you are going to do more complicated attacks. Because we die so quickly that the risk is very, very high when we can play it safe, keep it simple, and do just as well, right? So this battle's just about over. We're just mopping up the last dudes. That guy that guy went for a tumble. All right. Easy peasy, dude. Oh yeah, actually there's another wave. I forgot. And because I forgot, I almost died. So, not to worry though. This guy can be very dangerous. As you can see, I blocked that and have no health left. This ultimate technique barely saves me. And then we obliterate. But again, I don't really want to use items. I'd rather redo the fight at this point than use items because currency is so scarce. And we have a lot of items left. Or, I'm sorry, a lot of abilities left that we're going to need to buy. And to be honest, later in the game, I would like to be able to beat some of the more annoying bosses by spamming items. I would like to be able to do that without running out of currency. So that is kind of what we're planning ahead on at the moment. And so going no item early makes a huge difference. And that fight is done. We're going to heal up, and we are going to go do the optional side quests to nab some more money. We're also going to grab the Gordy collectible guy. I don't think I buy anything here. Oh, well, yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah, Mirage. Reflect and Blood Raven form is pretty good too, though. Which one do I buy? I think I buy Reflect. Maybe I buy Mirage. I think I do buy Mirage. Let's see. I did this like an hour and a half ago, so yeah, I did buy Mirage. Alright, so now we have Mirage. Mirage just allows you to dodge and then press Y to do a follow-up attack which can be really useful for like dodging into an Azuna drop, I think, if I remember correctly. But if we turn around here, real quick tip, the kunai in the post game is in this room, by the way, if you need the first kunai. But we're going to be going through now to the next section. We're just Spider-Manning our way to our next fight. This next fight has multiple rocket dudes and a ton of air dudes, so get ready for a fun fight. So, dealing with the rocket guy was kind of my first order of business. The air guys, because we have the range damage talisman, we can kind of wait on the air guys long enough to ultimate technique these air guys. And we do have an officer here, which obviously makes this a little tricky. We're going to dodge his ranged attacks and then ultimate technique him in the face with an on-landing. That's not enough to kill him, so scooping him up into an Azuna drop or two is absolutely a viable strategy. So he's dead, and now we can deal with the rocket guys. Again, the air guys are my last concern. And there's our OT. I'm trying to think about what talismans we'll end up using later, and I think the life on obliteration technique is probably going to be a good one, because it heals quite a bit when you OT something, to be honest. And as we get levels that have further and further checkpoints away from each other, I think that's going to be pretty critical. So as you can see, we are struggling to get anything done, so I recommend using the grappling hook into the Azuna drop, which again, this is good practice because you're going to need to do this on the last encounter of this level. You're just simply not going to have time to just shoot them out of the sky with the Blood Raven shurikens. At least not always. And the cool thing about the Azuna drop on the final fight is that the enemy there will stop what he's doing when you're Azuna dropping. And it kind of like reset him to neutral, which is really, really helpful. So just 1 2 a time here. We'll Blood Raven this guy now that there's fewer dudes shooting us. And that's that. Real quick, I want to show you the other optional mission that we can't get done until the post game is this way. You need to bring the air glider once you have it here so that you can hook up there and go fight some like Van Gelfs and stuff. But it's a mission that for some reason they give you in the like now, and I really wish they wouldn't give it to you now. I wish they would give it to you in the post game, but hey, whatever. And it's okay that we fell off the cliff there and took some damage because we get a free heal right around the corner here. Thanks, Umi. All right, back to it. So make sure you turn in that mission for the, what, like 3,500 coins? And that's pretty much it for this mission's extra missions. We're going to get our second Gordy. 2 obviously doesn't complete the mission of 5, but that's okay. So we'll move on through here. Kill the rocket guy first is my recommendation. And again, Azuna drop is just... it just gives so many iframes. And you can kind of play around with this guy if you want, because he's alone. Bye. Alright, so one last fight. I'm going to skip ahead here because it's another rail section that doesn't have any fighting. And then once you're done, you can come up here to the right to get your Gordy. Sup, Gordington? Gordington Prime. Look how sharp his teeth are. Why are you like that? Alright. So that's a Gordy. I don't really know why we're capturing them. But make sure you grab this chest. If we collect all the Gordies, we do get the ring that reduces key spending, which is a really, really good ring. If you plan to do post-game Master Ninja, it's a good ring. So I talked to Umi just for the heal, even though I don't think I need it, but let's continue on. I think the last fight here is actually pretty tricky, in my opinion. It took me a handful of tries. I think I died 20 something times, 23 times on this level, and almost all of them, all except like 1 or 2 or 3. I think 3. Yeah, so I think I died 20 times learning this this last fight, just because he can one-shot you with a lot of different attacks. And there's a lot of enemies. I'm just looking around like, did I miss anything? No. And then this is the last rail section. Make sure you grab this chest on the right. And that is our revive item for 15,000. That's a big one. Alright, so another rail section. Let's just skip through this real quick. Okay. So, the final fight. You fight a DDO Goliath and a bunch of enemies. I charge an ultimate technique right off the bat. You'll notice they hit us with the shuriken, but I just don't care because of her talisman. And this will kill one guy and start attacking the boss. The boss... There's a lot of ways to kill the boss. I prefer ultimate techniques. I think it's just safer because any of his attacks can just one-shot you. So I basically just run away and play a little bit chickenly. And then I Azuna drop the air guys, which again is XXXY. And then depending on if you press X to attack from the grapple point, that X does not count as part of the combo. Now, the real tough part about this boss fight is that on the third wave of ads, a shuriken officer spawns, and he spawns at a point where you're likely to have little or no essence for UTs. I mean, I think you should have 1 essence for a UT, but, you know, you could hit the boss, you could miss. But we're going to try to keep rolling around. I use shurikens to stun this rocket guy so he doesn't shoot me in the face before I go in for the kill. And then all this essence, I really try to use it to kill the boss. If I need essence to kill the non-boss, I like to kill the air guys. And you can ignore the enemies to just fight the boss. But you're going to get more money and more points if you kill all of the ads, right? So that's what we're going to do. And Azuna drop is very effective on pretty much everything you're going to fight here. I love the OTs in this game. Alright, here we go. Another wave of enemies coming up. There's the officer. We got a big blood orb for a really nice UT on him. If that doesn't happen to you, you're going to have to follow up. Just remember, you can scoop him up into an Azuna drop, but that the boss can hit you out of the air mid-Azuna. He normally resets to neutral, but if your Azuna starts late and he's already jumping to attack you, or about to, he can just bop you out of the air. And he can bop you out of the air in between like the last hit and when you grab him. So it's like a pretty small window, but it can happen. So these are the last of the ads. We're going to mop those up. And then it's literally just ultimate techniquing the boss. You can go close range with him and use the Blood Raven guard to guard his attacks. And you can then follow up and break his like charged attacks with a Blood Raven attack and do the whole combo string. But I personally just don't like to get close to him. So I just charge up UTs. UTs are not perfect. He can block them. So that's why I usually wait till he's about to attack to let it go. Like that. But that's it, man. That's the boss. There's one more wave of enemies, so don't rest yet. So what I would do is I would go near the pylon gate and charge up your next ultimate technique. I do it a little bit late here. And you'll notice that they give you your berserk stance because this is where you're supposed to test out your big berserk hit where you press L3 and R3. So I'm positioning for it to try and kill as many as possible. 2 survive here, but that's all right. We're going to have enough essence to deal with them. No problem. And that is your second level, guys. That's it. That level is a lot easier than the first one, I think. And it's just through nature of having abilities, skills, having items if you want to use items. Having the accessories is huge. But yeah, that's it, man. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, guys. This is Ninja Burrito, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.